Hello, investors. Welcome to the channel where I use technical analysis to find possible swing trades. Before beginning, I'd like to make it clear I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I say here is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes. Technical indicators like those I use here are not accurate 100% of the time. The fundamentals of a company and macroeconomic factors can drive share price changes differently than we'd expect based on technical indicators. My goal is to bring these companies to your attention so you can decide for yourself whether or not they're good investments for you. So please, if you plan on investing, do your own due diligence before purchasing shares in any company or consult with a financial advisor. And with that out of the way, today we're taking a look at Halliburton Company, ticker symbol HAL. This is in the energy sector. It provides multiple different services for drilling oil wells, including equipment and advisory processes. And here we are on Halliburton's charts. This is the annual chart. And you can see that it suddenly extended well above all the moving averages. And it does look like it balanced out and has begun to fall. We got a red candle yesterday after several green days. So this setup appears to be a good shorting opportunity. And if we go down to the RSI, you can see that it is overbought and has turned bearish. Both stochastics are the same, overbought and have turned bearish. The volume chart, again, shows several buying days, and we finally posted a red selling day yesterday. And the MACD follows the RSI, having reached a peak, and it looks like it's starting to, if not pull back, it's starting to level for sure. So all the technical indicators are there indicating that Halliburton might be trying to pull back at least toward the moving averages. And if we switch over to E-Trade, I can take a look at the fundamentals from a broad 10,000 foot view. There is not much short interest to write home about. The debt to equity ratio is average for the industry. The PE ratio is also average for the industry. That's a PE of 17.59 at the moment. The gross margin and operating margin seem to balance each other out here. The gross margin is below average and the operating margin is above average. And moving on to the return on equity, the numbers here indicate Halliburton is well above average, beating out 83% of its competitors. And then the growth rate shows that it is below average, less than 65% of its competitors. For those focused on dividends, the dividend yield is 1.69%, which is less than 75% of other companies in the industry. And the payout ratio is only 24%. So I suppose that's a double-edged sword. It's a low payout rate or a low dividend yield, but the payout ratio indicates that they could easily raise that dividend in the future. We switch back over to the chart for a moment here. You can see, especially if we zoom out to the 5-year chart, see where we are now. For the last 5 years, Halliburton has spent the preponderance of the time with a share price less than where it is now. So that sort of acts as gravity, pulling it back to ground. And switching back to the yearly chart here, you'll notice an odd thing. Here we have earnings, and it was an earnings beat. Well, I should mention the last 4 earnings, Halliburton beat on earnings every single time. And yet, after each earnings beat, here the price fell. Here's an earnings beat and the price fell. Here's an earnings beat. The price didn't fall immediately, but it did trade sideways for several days. It did go up, but this is not commensurate with the falls that came after the other earnings calls. And here we have another earnings call, and the share price fell and then traded sideways for several weeks. And I suppose I'm not sure if you'd call this a rise or fall or what, but for an earnings beat, this does not look like what I would expect. So it seems that Halliburton does not do very well following earnings, even if the earnings are good. And as it turns out, we have earnings coming up next week. So if you combine the historical earnings reaction with the current setup where all the technicals are indicating it's going to fall, it reinforces the idea that Halliburton share price is likely to fall, in my opinion, over the next couple of weeks. However, I should also point out that it does appear that Halliburton is a pretty good company. So after the earnings comes out and after the share price presumably falls a bit, for those of you who do not like to short or may not want to buy bear call spreads, I would just keep your eye on Halliburton, and after the share price falls to what you think is a reasonable level, then you can look to purchase at that time. So if you got something out of the video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe to help out the channel. If you enjoy these brief overviews of companies that might be good swing trades, please leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. And if you'd like me to take a look at a particular company using the indicators I present here, mention that in the comments and I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and good luck with all your investments.